fans a lot of the fans, most of the fans will know Ozzy as the Prince of Darkness. And if you were lucky enough to meet Ozzy as a human being off stage, you'd be shocked because he treated people exactly the same way. No airs about him. He's met queens and kings and all kinds of political leaders and the person next door or somebody meets walking down the street. Oh, how are you? You want a cuppa? A little biscuit. It was just, I think it's fair to say there was never an Ozzy Osbourne before Ozzy. There was never an Ozzy until Ozzy came along. And there never will be another Ozzy. He's just a unique, in science they call it a singularity. He's just a unique, lovable person. I'll leave with one other point, and I thought about this all day. There are kings and there are queens and politicians and leaders of country and CEOs, people, Well, I remember the man, we 1974, we were both trying to forge our paths, and we actually played on the same bill. And I will tell you that the masses, the fans are grieving. What can you say? It's just broken hearts. And when I tell you my heart, my prayers, and millions of others to Sharon and the kids, people think of him as the Prince of Darkness, and, on stage, of course, this huge persona, a giant, but at the same time, a loving father and a dedicated husband. You can say whatever you want about Ozzy. There never was an Ozzy before Ozzy. You can't really point to anybody that says, oh yeah, that's where he came from. Scientists call that a singularity, an anomaly. He was just kind of born Ozzy. And as far as I know, his entire life, to thine own self be true, the Greeks say. Ozzy was always Ozzy. Through disco, through flapo, through whatever musical genre there were, Ozzy was always Ozzy, all the way to the end. I mean, it was shocking to see him on his throne, with everybody paying tribute, as well they should, to Sabbath. They wouldn't have been Metallica and lots of other bands. And Ozzy was just, and he was just, giving it all. And you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. And a week later, devastating. I mean, the fans, my social media and my phone's been off the hook. People are just crying. They're just devastated. What can you say?
Yeah. I mean, truly, the way you describe it, somewhat of a poetic end to a poet. He was a poet. I mean, when you listen to his lyrics, he was a poet.
So,
and
so
yet,
many people are actually coming out, most especially from those within the music industry. They're coming out to mourn the death of Ozzy Osbourne, the man who passed on at the age of 76. The legend passed away just yesterday, and the family came out and revealed in a heartbreaking statement that was signed by Sharon, the wife, plus all the children, announcing the passing on of Ozzy Osbourne. The legend was really very much popular within rock and roll. He's been regarded as one of the greatest artists to ever grace the stage, mostly in that genre of rock and roll. Now we are seeing so many luminaries of the music world coming out to pay their own tributes. We'll start with Jenny Simmons, who actually came out and almost broke down, paying tribute to his longtime friend, that is Ozzy Osbourne, who passed on just yesterday. He said that, to summarize it all, he said that he was very, very close, and he's glad that Ozzy actually performed just a couple of weeks ago in Birmingham, in England, his last show, and he was there to witness this history. And of course, it's really very sad to report that he's passed away. He was a giant, admired and loved by millions of fans worldwide. and Ginny Simmons concluded by saying that prayers and condolences go out to the Osbourne family. Then we saw Rolling Stone guitarist Ronnie Wood also coming out saying, "I'm very sad to hear the death of Ozzy Osbourne. What a lovely goodbye concert he held back to the beginning in Birmingham." Then we saw Rod Stewart saying, "Bye bye Ozzy, sleep well my friend. I'll see you up there later rather than sooner." Then we saw Sir Elton John, another giant within the rock and roll genre, saying that so sad to hear the news of Ozzy Osbourne passing away. He was a dear friend and a huge trailblazer who secured his place in the pantheon of rock gods. A true legend, and he was also one of the funniest people I've ever met. I'll miss him dearly. To Sharon and the whole family, I send my condolences and love. And then he concluded by saying, "Elton kisses." So many people are still coming out to pay tributes, and of course we'll be coming out to give you the details regarding his celebration of life service and of course the funeral arrangements. Bye bye for now.